When was the last time you felt tired even after 8 hours of sleep? What about your unhealthy obsession with TikTok and how you can't stop doom scrolling? If you're constantly on edge and you have the shortest fuse, you're moving out of survival mode and you don't even know it. I spent the majority of my 20s living my day to day in survival mode, and now I'm trying to figure out how to live my best life. In this video, we're going to talk about how society pushes women into survival mode and out of their feminine energy, but we're also going to discuss how we can come out of that and break generational patterns so that we can become healthier and better versions of ourselves. Let's get started, girls. So we're going to break this video up into 4 parts just so that it's easier for my brain to navigate as we kind of go through it. Let's just paint a picture for you. You and a guy are playing a game and you both start on the same level, same amount of points, and you're playing, right? You're playing, but you notice that he's moved on to level 2, level 3, level 4, and he's left you in the dust. Even though you guys are playing the exact same way, you're still stuck on level 1 whilst he's advanced into other levels. Whenever you try to advance into another level, you feel blocked. There's nothing actually blocking your path, but you feel that resistance. You keep hitting into a wall. And this is what we call the glass ceiling phenomenon, and it's what a lot of women in society experience. Women have societal or systematic oppression that prevents them from really progressing. We're going to talk about how society is actually pushing women into survival mode specifically. So I feel like women are expected to do a lot more now as opposed to when men were the sole providers of the family. So like you're expected to still do a majority of the cooking, the cleaning, making sure that the kids are okay, but then also go to work. So it's like you're doing a double shift. That is a lot to think about. And even just thinking about that is making me a bit hot. I'm just getting a bit flustered. Because that is a lot on one girl. Like, because the expectation is the woman is still meant to be the primary caretaker at home, then that also means she's not able to put as much hours into advancing herself in her career. If you want to advance yourself in your career, the standard rule is you're gonna have to put in the hours, you're gonna have to put in the work. But how are you expected to do that when you have a family to take care of as well? How are you expected to do that when you still have to make dinner for the kids when you get home? You still have to clean the house for when you get home. When that is expected of you, women just tend to naturally conform to what that expectation is. So I feel like in a lot of women, there tends to be more people pleasing tendencies, especially the older, like especially the firstborn women. They tend to prioritize other people's needs as opposed to their own. And even thinking about it is making me a bit sad. This is how society pushes women into survival mode because throughout all of this, you still have to function. Life does not stop. It doesn't stop because you feel like you're stressed out. It doesn't stop because you feel like you can't handle it. Here is what survival mode actually does to you. I can speak about this from experience because this is something I dealt with on a day to day. So it would look like I've woken up out of bed and I'm still exhausted, almost as if I didn't go to sleep. Sometimes I would even wake up with a headache. Can you imagine feeling like you hadn't rested and then waking up with a headache on top of that? You've already started the day off on the wrong foot because of that. I also found like I was very irritated a lot of the time as well. Like it would take the smallest thing to piss me off. And then I would snap, like, don't piss me off, don't do that. I just remember everything was getting under my skin, like everything was irritating, like you irritating me right now. This is when I realized I am in survival mode and I have to do what I can to get out of it because I don't want to live a life where this is a norm because this is not normal. I didn't even realize I was operating in survival mode. If you was to look at the women in your family, would you guys notice a pattern amongst all of them? It definitely shows up in generational patterns. I don't know about your family, but I can speak on for mine. The women are extremely unhappy in their marriages. And it's something that breaks my heart because it's like, how can you set someone free that doesn't want to be set free themselves? They may have a desire to, but then it just stays as a desire. I noticed that a lot of women in my family are not happy in their marriages because they feel as though they take on a lot of the responsibility, whether that is emotional, whether that is taking care of the children as well, and that the support that is offered from the partners are quite minimal. I don't think it's because they picked bad men. I think it's because they picked men that didn't compliment them, or they picked men that they identified with from some sort of lack that the guy was making up for, but what wasn't necessarily forcing them to grow. It was just keeping them in a state of comfortability because of how they grew up. Your mothers and your grandmothers were in survival mode, and that was the baseline in which you saw. And so you have inherited that. But we have the choice to make, girls. Life is not over. So this is how I'm going to step out of this survival mode, how we are going to step out of survival mode. And I fear it's by being selfish. But then I also think it's about learning how to regulate your emotions. If you don't know how to calm yourself down, how to understand when you're being triggered, and then what to do when you're being triggered, you're going to keep putting yourself back in survival mode. The thing that I'm learning to do is understand what my triggers are, what things piss me off, what things make me feel resentful towards other people, and what things are actually making me happy as well. It's not just about using the things that are negative, but then also trying to prioritize things that are positive. So I love music. Music makes me feel good. I like how I feel after I've had a gym session or a running session. I love how it makes me feel like I'm taking care of my body. I love how I look in the mirror as well. The next thing I would add on to that is also doing things that are high impact to the life that you want. I definitely struggled with this because I felt like, oh, I'm busy, I'm productive, but there were things that weren't adding or moving the needle to where I wanted to live, to the life that I wanted to create for myself. That may look like, oh, okay, I have a goal that I want to lose a certain amount of weight. If that means doing 10K steps and it's 11 o'clock at night, pace around your house and make sure you get those steps in. Coming out of survival mode means learning to be at one with yourself, but you have to be able to have an identity for that. So begin to figure out what your identity is, not what you feel like you should like, not what you feel like your aesthetic should be, but who you actually are. I'm a highly sensitive person. Where I'm highly sensitive, I love to have introspective conversations. I feel things deeply. I look into things deeply. I want to connect. That's how I connect with people. And doing these intellectual commentary videos, I actually enjoy doing it because I enjoy speaking about things that I care about. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I feel like I did yap quite a bit, but in this video we did cover how women are expected to fit certain expectations, and then that subsequently pushes them into survival mode. But then we also spoke about how we're going to do things differently than what our mothers did, what our grandmothers did, and come out of that survival mode and live the life in which we are curating for ourselves in a healthy way. Link to my Substack will be in the description box. I hope you guys like this. Please comment your thoughts. I'd love to read. I'd love to have a chat in the comment section. But I'll definitely see you guys in my next one. Bye.